All right, getting into the old business. We have an outside speaker for us today. We have Detective Russell McDermott. Are you ready, sir? He's from the O'Fallon Police Department, Criminal Investigation Section, on identity theft and fraud.
I assume these are all confidential, so that.
Anything in here, stuff you can find. Newspaper, they start newspapers.
Okay, thank you.
This is interesting.
I learned all about this stuff in the police academy.
Oh, did you? The Citizens Academy?
This is the one that's interesting.
Thank you. Interesting.
Goodness. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, thank you for having me. My name's Detective McDermott. I am with the O'Fallon Criminal Investigation Section, and I'm going to give a presentation today on identity theft. What I'd like to ask you to do before I begin, there's a test there. If you'll just take a second and answer the questions. If the question does not apply to you, just leave it blank. And if you'll add up your numbers, we'll go over where you're at. And basically, this is to gauge how susceptible you are right now to being victimized. While you're filling that out, basically what I'm going to cover is the current crime trends associated with all the scams going on out there to get your money and steal your information. I'll give everybody just a minute. And for those of you in the crowd, I'm going to be working off this PowerPoint over here, so if you can't see it, I encourage you to move over. So. All right, if you've added up your scores, we'll go over it. So who scored 0 to 50? All right, congratulations. You guys are on top of things. That's good. How about 50 to 100? All right. That's about average. That's where most people are. And if you scored 100 points or higher, you're high risk, and you might already be a victim of identity theft. I don't know. But hopefully this presentation will help you get your score down on this test, and you can be better aware of what's going on. Yes, sir?
But I didn't perform admirably. But the post office box, which we do not have, or a locked secure mailbox, how's the post office going to get in to deliver letters? Unless you have a post office box.
A P.O. box?
Yeah, so you have, if, like everybody that I'm aware of, just, you know, the post person just goes to buy, sticks it in the thing and goes to the next one.
Yeah,
sticks
that's
it.
what you don't want to do. You don't want to stick your mail in the mailbox and put the little red flag up, because basically what you're doing is telling people, hey, I have personal information in my mailbox, come get it.
Well, how about getting, so that you're not talking about getting stuff, you're talking about mailing stuff?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
mostly for mailing stuff, correct. Yeah.
Safe.
So let's talk about what identity theft is, which is basically the compromise of any of your personal information, like credit card numbers, your debit card number, your social security number, your child's social security number, to commit fraud. It's a crime that's victimized over 8 million people in 2011, which is more than the population of the state of Virginia. So it's an epidemic, and it continues. The numbers continue to grow of victims every year. The number's not even current because they only know this number based on who reports it. A lot of people are victimized and don't report it. You know, they get their money back from their bank and they move on. So who knows what the actual number is. So it's the top complaint to the Federal Trade Commission. They are a federal agency that keeps statistics on things like this. They had more than 2 million complaints last year, and 1 in 5 was identity theft, which is, you know, the misuse of your personal information, like your social security number, your bank account number, for fraud or theft. So what are identity thieves after? They're after your usernames and passwords on your computers, or your PIN number for your debit card, your social security number, account numbers, anything that's personal and private that relates to your personal identity. Can cause damage to your credit history or, you know, your financial status. How do they get your information? Believe it or not, one of the most popular methods is dumpster diving. So when you throw your trash away, or you get that credit card bill in the mail that wants you to apply for the new credit card, and you just throw it away and you don't shred it, credit card thieves go through the trash, pull that out, and fill that out using your information. Very popular. Changing your address. They'll take over your credit account and then change the address where the bill that you're supposed to be getting goes to them, so you don't know that you're being victimized. Mail theft, we just talked about that. If you're going to send out mail or bills with money, it's good to get a P.O. box or take it directly to the post office. I would encourage that you don't put anything of value or sensitive information in your mailbox and stick the little red flag up, because that's just telling people to come get my mail. Shoulder surfing. What is that? It's entering PIN numbers and not paying attention to your surroundings. People do pay attention and try to watch people when they are at the ATM, or if you're, you know, standing in line and someone asks some sensitive question like what my social security number is, make sure there's nobody around. Skimming. Skimming is quite popular. It's not so much that it's something you need to be worried about, but it's good to know about, so that's why I put it in here. And basically, skimming it's a device that captures your credit card information. For example, it can be in your hand and you give the waiter your credit card to pay for your dinner and you don't see him for 10 minutes. It's possible he skimmed your card in a skimmer and now he has your information. So you always want to kind of keep track of, if you're going to give your debit card to somebody, don't let it usually leave your site. So you have an idea what a skimmer is. If you were looking at an ATM, you would put your card there, and this is actually a skimming device, and what they do is they place these over the actual ATM. This part right here is an electronic capturing device that stores all the information that can be downloaded wirelessly from a laptop. So the thief can put this on an ATM, go park the parking lot next, and catch everybody who puts their debit card in there, get all their information. To show you even better, I don't know how well you can see this, but if you look at the ATM here, you'd put your card in right there. And if you look at this one, that's the skimming device. They just place it over where the card goes in. So you're actually still getting the transaction at the ATM, but they're just capturing your information.
But physically, it looks a little.
Yes. They're most popular at gas stations. Data breaches. What's a data breach? This is mostly how your information is going to be compromised. Probably 1 in 5 people in here at some point is going to have their debit card or their credit card used in another state. And that's not anything that you do or that you can protect from. It's just going to happen, and that's from a data breach. What is a data breach? It's basically personal information being compromised at somewhere you've shopped, whether you bought something online or whether it's a dirty employee at a medical office when you paid your copay for your doctor visit. All this information goes to a computer. If you really stop and think about how many places you use your debit card, you give your personal information, anybody that's dirty, if you went to Target, somebody in another state who has access to Target's records can compromise the system and get all these debit card numbers. So it's nothing that you can really protect from. Schnooks just happened. Everybody's familiar with it. Basically what happened is somebody wirelessly installed hacking software into Schnook's computers and downloaded all their customer information for the last 3 years. What happens is the thieves, the people who are using your credit cards are not the thieves. It's the person who is hacking into the system is selling it online. So there's actual websites dedicated to selling stolen credit card numbers. For a price, you can buy a credit card number. The last 4 is blocked out, and if you pay $10, you can get 10 credit card numbers. So then as soon as they get your data, they sell it all over the United States. And then it's used, and you just see a rash of it popping up, and that's what happened at Schnucks. Malware and crimeware, for those that are get on the internet a lot and pay bills, it's good to have good virus protection software and updated. I'm not going to get real technical today, but if you do use your computer, I always recommend, and sometimes it's not cost effective, but if you pay a lot of your bills online and you go to a lot of different websites to do that, I would recommend having just a computer to do that only. Have a different, separate computer to surf the web, play on Facebook. You don't want to cross the two because you're just invited. Yes, sir.
Norton, this is the type of thing, does that protect you or is it a different thing entirely?
Norton Antivirus is yes, that's good software. So if you have that, yes, you're good. Phishing emails. This is where most people's information are compromised if you are online a lot and you play in emails. A phishing email is basically an email that tries to get you to click a link inside that email, and they try to make it look real, like it's from your bank, or I have a few examples up here. So basically, this is a phishing email. So the user got one. It looks like it's from your credit union, and it just says, you need to contact us for whatever reason, and what they want you to do is hit that link right there that's renew now. As soon as you click that link, you're going to go into the bad guy's website. It's going to look just like Alliant Bank's, but it's not. And everything you're entering, they're capturing. Another one, South Trust Bank. Just an example of what a phishing email looks like and what to be aware of. You click that link, you go into the bad guy's website, and you're entering all your personal information, and you don't know it. Just another one, eBay. There's hundreds of these. The criminals, that's all they do. It's their full-time job to try to steal your identity and take your money.
So I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
In order to send you something from your bank, somehow you're already compromised. Because if I'm an Alliant Bank customer, you're sending me something from my bank, but I mean, they already have to know that I bank there somehow.
Yeah, I would recommend that if you're going to do online banking, that you generate the contact when you,
Right.
I would never respond to contact that is supposedly from your bank. I would only generate the
Right.
contact so you know that you're on a safe and secure website. So how can your identity be misused? Obviously, there's credit card fraud. People that once they get your credit card, they put it down on a blank card and they use it as quick until you find out about it. This is just to illustrate, I have a few actual cases that I worked last year, to illustrate that identity theft and your information can be stolen very easily and what to be aware of. This gentleman right here was hitting doctor's offices around the St. Charles County area for patients that would go to the doctor, and if you were in the waiting room and you set your purse down, or if you actually went into the doctor's office and they had a room back there where you'd set your purses, he would go in these doors and steal your credit card out of your purse and you wouldn't know it. And if he got caught, he would just say, "Oh, sorry, I thought this was the bathroom." So it doesn't matter where you're at, you need to be alert on all times. You can your information can even be compromised when you're sitting at the doctor's office, and you just got to be careful. So, and he looks just like a normal person. Criminals don't look like any type of certain individual that you can put a face on. This lady right here, her scam was she operated a travel agency. So what she would do is have people come and meet her at a restaurant, and she would try to sell you a timeshare to some place across the country. Well, to pay for it, she would swipe your credit card on an old machine that's commonly known as a knuckle buster, and then she would have your information on there. And then what she would do is, when you weren't looking or checking your credit, she was out paying her bills, paying her rent, renting furniture, eating, that you name it. She was using your. And what happens a lot is people check their debit card statements a lot. You're always checking your bank to see how much money's in there, but how often do you really check your credit cards? Not a lot of people actually go in and see, hey, I'm going to check to see what's going on with my Capital One card. You know, I haven't used it in 2 years. Maybe I should check it. Well, she took advantage of that. Not a lot of people check their credit cards. So when they finally found out about her, people were thousands and thousands of dollars in debt because of her. These two ladies, this is just to illustrate real quick how fast your information can be stolen. The victim in this case went to Quick Trip to get a soda, and she wasn't in the store for over a minute, maybe 50 seconds. Within that time, she mistakenly left her purse in the car on the floorboard. These two ladies stole her purse and racked up over $5,000 in credit card debt within 5 to 10 minutes in Wentzville. It happens that quick. So you need to always be on the alert. Don't leave your purse in your car if you're going to go get a soda at Quick Trip, or for that matter, don't leave your purse ever in your car overnight, and always lock your doors. What else can happen with identity theft? Bank fraud. The criminals can open up new accounts using your information. Benefits frauds. I just had a case where a gentleman got a new dental work for $5,000 using a victim's name who lived in another state. The scam was his buddy did an internet search of his name and found other people with his same exact name. So they got this gentleman's information and got dental work and then fled the state. So, other identity theft, there's a long list of crimes. You know, people can pretty much do anything: rent an apartment, get car insurance. If you can think of it, they can do it. Thieves specifically target the elderly, and that's because elderly usually have higher credits. They're more trusting of people, and they generally see the good in people. Why? They're an easy target. The elderly don't check their credit cards regularly. You don't usually receive or review your mail. You're unfamiliar with computers and online activity. You're overly trusting. I just covered that. And you may not know you're a victim for a long time until you figure it out. I handed you guys a handout of the 2012 top 10 scams reported to the Better Business Bureau. I'm not going to cover all these, but I'd just like to cover a couple popular ones that just seem to keep popping up this year. One is the grandparent scam. I'd like everybody to be aware of that one. Basically, the scam is you'll get a phone call, and it'll start off with grandma or grandpa, and you know, you're on the line to go, yeah, and it's so-and-so, you know, they'll wait for you to say the name, and they'll go, yeah, that's me. I'm in jail in California, and I need money to bail me out. Here's my attorney. And then someone else gets on the phone and pretends to be the attorney. Well, don't tell mom and dad, because I'll get in trouble. But I need $5,000 to bail out. So they'll send the $5,000 off, and it's gone. And then they figure out a couple weeks later, a couple days later, that their grandson isn't in California. He's actually at home, and he's fine. So that's a very popular scam. Also, another popular scam right now that I keep seeing is the work from home scam. People are looking to make an extra buck and look online to try to get a job to make ends meet. A very popular one is to receive packages and reship them. Basically, what that is it's happening a lot. Thieves are stealing credit card numbers, and then what they're doing is these thieves live overseas in countries like Africa and Nigeria. They buy the things that they want with the stolen credit cards, and then they have them shipped all over the United States to where you can't trace it. So the guy that gets online and applies for the reshipping job, he's actually receiving property purchased with a stolen credit card, and then he's ordered to ship that property to another person who thinks they're doing the same thing. So basically the property eventually winds up overseas, and you can't prosecute these people because they're out of the reach of the jurisdiction of the United States. So I just want people to be aware of that. And then it's good to go over this because a lot of these things, another thing I'm going to cover here real quickly that's in the presentation is the Jamaican lottery scam, which is quite popular. This is just an example of what it would look like. They make it look legit, like it's an actual lottery, that you've won money, you've won a large prize, but to get that prize, you need to send them money first, whether it's to pay for the shipping cost of the card that you've won, and it's all a scam. My suggestion would be if you don't play the lottery and if you don't remember entering the Jamaican lottery, then you probably didn't win it. But a lot of people, you know, they see that, they see the allure of money fast and big bucks, and common sense goes out the window, unfortunately. And they spend a lot of time making these look real. Here's another one, looks like it's from Publisher Clearinghouse. Again, if you didn't play the Publisher Clearinghouse, you're not going to win it. So let's talk about what you can do to avoid becoming a victim. There's a neat little word that the government created called scam, and that stands for be stingy about giving others your personal information. Like I said, always, if you're going to always generate the contact if you're going to give personal information. Don't take a phone call and whoever it is, trust that that's who the person says they are and give them your personal information. Make sure it's something that you generated. Check your financial information regularly. Check your credit card statements regularly. It's good practice. Ask periodically for a copy of your credit report. You're allowed to get a free credit report once a year, and it's not on freecreditreport.com. That is a pay site. I'll have the site up here in a second for how to get your free credit report. You're allowed one free credit report a year, and it will not negatively impact your credit. If you continue to get credit checks and check your credit, it will negatively impact your credit score. For example, if you go out and purchase a car and get your credit checked, and you go buy furniture and get your credit checked, and you go buy something else and get your credit checked, your credit score is going to go down because you ran your credit too many times. Maintain careful records of your bank and financial accounts. That's common sense. So again, watch your credit score. Don't share your personal information. Don't carry your social security card in your wallet. Always leave that at home. There's no need to carry that around. Shred and destroy your documents. Don't throw bank statements or credit card offers in the trash. Put them in a separate drawer. If you don't feel like doing it on whatever time it is when you open the mail, because we're all tired every day, put it in a drawer that you can label the shredder drawer, and once a month shred everything in there. Anything that you might think is, you know, has your name on it, shred it, just to be safe. Guard your mail, shop smart, and strengthen your passwords. I recommend, and you'll hear this a lot, don't use the same passwords for all kinds of different accounts. Because once they get one, then they know all your accounts. Whenever you're on websites, you want to make sure that these two following things are on the website. If you're on banking, this little lock up here and that HTTPS means you're on a secure site. If you don't see those things, then you're not on a safe site.
I don't remember seeing that.
So stay alert means be alert for mails or bills that don't arrive or denials of credit for no reason. There's something going on there if you're being denied and you're pretty tight with your money. There's obviously an issue there. Inspect your credit report, and that's the site I spoke of earlier, annualcreditreport.com. You get that once a year, and we'll check your credit through Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Those are the three major credit reporting agencies. I'll cover that in just a second. I have another sheet here that I gave you that has all that information on it. What do you do if you're a victim? You want to contact the fraud department. So if you're a victim, if you're a Capital One credit card holder and you're Capital One, call Capital One's fraud department and report it as fraud. If you don't report it, you're going to be responsible for the money that's owed. So you want to make a fraud alert. Then you want to report your credit fraud to all 3 major credit agencies. I provided a list of resources that the police department generally hands out to victims of identity theft, and it has the 3 major credit agencies on here, the phone numbers that can be reached. While we're on the subject, if you are a victim of identity theft and it keeps occurring, as it happens, I see a lot of people, it's the same people over and over, you can also lock your credit. You can call these 3 companies and have them shut down your credit completely where no accounts can be opened. That comes with a fee. So basically, if you want to turn your credit on to buy a car, you would call the company. For 15 bucks, they would turn your credit on, you'd tell them where you're going to be, you buy the car, they run your credit, and then you turn it back off. That's just an option that a lot of people aren't aware of, and it's good to know. Obtain a credit report and review it. Make sure all the accounts on there are yours. Close out the fraudulent accounts. We just discussed that. File reports with the police, and I always tell victims to call the Federal Trade Commission because they keep statistics on this stuff, and if you don't report it to them, then you can't be a statistic. Keep a log of all that you do and be persistent. A few resources that you can go to. The FBI has a site for seniors that just, covers identity theft and fraud. The Federal Trade Commission has one, and fraud.org at Elder Fraud. You can also go to the Missouri Attorney General's office's website, and they generally have a posting on there for consumer crime and protection, and it'll have what the current crime trends are because they change all the time. If anybody has any questions, my information's up on the board. If you have any issues with fraud or identity theft, you can always feel free to call me, and we'll go over it. Do I have any questions?
It's really informative, thank you.
All right, thank you for your time.
Scary.
Okay. Thank you, Detective McDermott. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
And
I'm sorry, are those 3, the FBI, are they on this sheet? Resources?
Sorry, sir?
The FBI and this sort of thing, are they on this sheet? I see, the Equifax and,
I believe so. There's quite a few resources on there.
yeah, I was just gonna say, you can't remember page 7, what's wrong with you? Well, I'll find out.
If you need any assistance, please call me.
Thank you.
Thank you.